Welcome back to my YouTube channel and to my train room. I've just returned from a layout build in a nice warm Florida back to Marquette, Michigan, where the high today is forecast at -13. I think that's about -24 Celsius. Anyway, before I left, I was in the middle of detailing the station area for Centerville. I didn't quite get it finished. So let's take a look at where I left off and get back to work. Well, just to recap, here is the station, which I built from the Walters kit a couple of years back. In the last installment, I created the boardwalk, did the ground cover, I put a hedge along here, and at the other end, to save passengers from falling off the retaining wall, I put a board fence along here. What am I still missing? A few things really. Most noticeably, I need some people. I think ideally I should have one or more road vehicles in the parking lot, although I might not bother with that. I need some baggage carts. I just need to make the whole area look busy. And I also need to redo the driveway because it didn't turn out too well. I think I can accept the texture of it. It looks like it's in need of maintenance, and I think I could probably make it look a lot better with some paint or stain. So I'm going to experiment with that. Hopefully I can avoid having to tear it out and starting again. Well, I hit this area with a thin wash of pavement grey and burnt umber. Not so much painting it as just puddling it on randomly, and then I came back and I hit it again with some brown oxide. I think it's a lot better than it was, although it's probably now a little bit too red. One thing I did notice is that a lot of the top layer of ash peeled off when I was painting it, and I'm still not sure whether I like it. I might come back and have another go later, but I'm going to leave it for the time being and get on with something else. When it comes to detail parts, I have everything I need for the Centerville area. I have this laser cut wood kit for a baggage cart. I bought it many years ago and it's sat in a drawer full of detail parts ever since, and now it will see the light of day. I have two different styles of bench, which I bought recently on eBay. I haven't decided which one I'm going to use yet. And I have painted a large number of figures, most of them suitable as passengers. I have over 100 here, some seated, most standing. I have way more than I need for Centerville, so I will just keep adding a few at a time until I think I have the right look. But first, let's assemble the baggage cart. So while the baggage cart is gluing up, I need to decide which style of bench to use and how many to do. Yes, I think I like the arrangement with two benches either side of the door on the road side, and then I will definitely put some under the awning at this end, probably 3, and then I need some on the rail side. I don't have straight walls that are long enough. Could probably put one either side of the bay window. I think they're okay in front of the columns. I mean, I could put a pair either side of the baggage door, but I'm thinking that the station staff would want to keep that area clear for baggage handlers, so I'm going to refrain from putting them there. I think I like the arrangement with 4 like that, 3 at the end and 4 at the back, so it's 11 benches altogether. That has to be enough for a station this size. Which style do I like the best? I definitely like these better. They're not painted particularly well. I'm going to have to go back and touch them up, although they're good enough that I don't have to completely strip them. The decorative panel at the back is fairly even, and I just need to touch up the black cast iron ends. So let me do that and I will be right back. Well, that was easy enough. I just used the matte black out of my figure painting set. I painted the left hand end of all of them and then came back and did the other end. That way I had somewhere to hold them. Now most of them have these great big plastic nubs on the back or the bottom, and it's proved difficult to get rid of them. I keep thinking that I'm going to destroy the bench. I think it would have been better had they been supplied as 4-part kits instead of being pre-assembled. It's a small point and I don't think they will notice, especially since they are either underneath or on the back, which is going to be against a wall. So I'm reasonably happy with the way they turned out, and now it's time to arrange some figures on them. I painted all 12, even though I'm only going to be using 11, and I think I want some of them with 2 or 3 people on, some with just 1 person, and some empty. Well, I tried a few different positions for the baggage wagon, and I kept going back to it looking better here. It looked unnatural if I put it on the boardwalk anywhere, and the other side of the structure it was just completely hidden, so that's where it ended up. I've glued some more figures down. Here we've got someone waving to a friend approaching. Here I've got a young girl greeting her dad with her mom standing by. I've got a few people moving away from the station, and this guy has a camera hanging around his neck, just standing well out by himself, waiting to photograph the train. I think what I'd like to do is put a few small trees in this area, but I want to make sure that I don't block any reach-in areas for switching behind. So I need to think about that rather than just forging ahead. Well, I've planted a few trees at each end of the building. This area here I have kept open for easy reach in while switching to no storage. The building is pretty low and fairly elbow proof, so I'm not worried about having to reach over that to uncouple cars in the National Widget power plant spur. Behind these trees I don't really need to be able to reach, and at this end that's just a crossover. I don't have to uncouple behind these trees either, but I've left this area open because we're getting into the National Widget yard area where operators are reaching in fairly frequently, so I haven't planted any trees along here. Let's take a look around the rail side of the station. other end. I'm not going to be able to see through the viewfinder at all, so I'm just going to have to trust the luck that you get a decent view. So I think I'm going to call this project done. I hope you've enjoyed this series, and I hope to see you again with whatever I film next.